the break with the third best record in baseball. 18 games above 500, 6 ahead of the Mets and Marlins. Stephen Strasburg gets the nod to start the second half, going for lucky number 13 on a Friday against the Pirates.
Great to be back at the ballpark. It's been a long 4 days or so. We can't wait for the Nats and the Pirates to get things fired up here. Start of another long and good homestand. Dodgers and Padres a little later, and here we are for the mythical second half of the season. Boy, you look well rested. Bob and FP, here we go. And first of all, Daniel Murphy scratched from the lineup over an hour ago. General leg soreness. Dusty had hoped to play him at first and kind of have this lineup thing going against left-handed pitchers, but not to be tonight. But it's still one of the hot teams in baseball. The Nats on a roll, and at least we're not looking forward to the second half and saying, well, you got to win 70% of your games to be able to contend.
But you still have to grind. They're playing a pretty good ball club tonight, and the Pirates have won 9 of their last 11. The Dodgers come to town after that, then the Padres, then they go to Cleveland. You see the Indians record on there, and then to San Francisco. So the schedule not easy coming out of the break for the Nats. They have to be ready to fight, be ready to play right out of the gate.
And why not have a guy like Stephen Strasburg trying to remain perfect in your quest to do so? He's been simply outstanding. He chose to pass on the inning at the All-Star game, so we'll see how he comes out tonight and attacks the hitters.
Well, he's got to attack them because when they're ahead in the count, 295 average, even 237, but when Stephen Strasburg's ahead in the count, opponents are hitting 121 against the big Nats right-hander.
We never mind pulling out some old video when it's a lot of fun to watch. Sometimes it's homers or strikeouts or no-hitters. This is June 8, 2010. 14 Buccaneers went off the plank in Strasburg's first big league start. He faces them for the first time in 2 years.
Bob.
So am I.
Masson, brought to you by PNC Bank, for the achiever in you, and by Eastern Lexus. Some things are simply impossible to ignore. The strikingly designed Lexus NX Turbo and Hybrid. Flowers still looking good. Ballpark looking great. We missed you guys. Good to be back on the air and covering the Nationals, who are 54-36. It's been a sizzler in the district today. Some clouds. Right now, clear skies. 90 degrees. Humidity is bearable at 46%. Starling Marte, well, he's been up there chasing Daniel Murphy, Wilson Ramos, and some of the other better hitters in the league all year long. Right now, his .316 has him in the top 7 or 8, and he really loves to run. 30 steals on the year, second to Jonathan VR of Milwaukee. And here's Stephen Strasburg for the 6th time in his career against the Pirates.
We see the slider 16% of the time. It's been averaging 89 miles an hour, the fastball 95. But the slider, the reason I think Stephen Strasburg's 12-0. Remember, he's just fastball, curveball, change. That slider's added a whole new dimension to what you're thinking about as a hitter when you're facing him. Here's your defense tonight. Behind Stephen Strasburg, Worth, Taylor, Harper outfield, Espinoza, Rendon left side, Turner, Robinson right side, and Wilson Ramos behind the plate. Clint Robinson last minute starts. As Bob told you in the open, Daniel Murphy with general leg soreness. That's the report.
We saw a discussion on the field during batting practice today. Murphy removed from the lineup. So here we go. It's Strasburg against the Pirates. Steven is 2-2 with a .283 ERA in 5 career starts against Pittsburgh. Josh Harrison, .317 career against the Nats, and he goes up hacking trying to add to that. Underway at 7:06. Harrison hitting .274. .311 career in this ballpark. To the left side, couple of hops, Danny Espinoza.
It's time for your Coons.com scouting report. Over 2 million vehicles sold and counting. Sink or swim with the win tonight. Stephen Strasburg ties Rube Marquardt, last NL pitcher to go 13-0 to start a season. That was in 1912. When the Titanic sunk. McLovin, be careful with Andrew McCutchen. He's 53 for 152, 349 and 14 home runs in 41 career games against the Nats. He loves to hit against this ball club.
Yes, he does. Here's David Freese, .291 batting average. Former St. Louis Cardinal, former Los Angeles Angel of Anaheim.
Too soon with the Titanic reference, you think?
Never too soon.
Right.
We love history.
1912 would have been too soon, I'm thinking.
Ron Kulpa, 18th year in the big leagues. The plate, Chris Conroy. Jerry Meals, he's the crew chief, 19 years. He's at second. Paul Nauert over there on the third base side. Outside from Strasburg. And just like that, 3-0 to David Freese. Swinging the bat well, 10 homers, 38 RBIs. He's 10 for 31 in July. Running back to the outer half. 3-1 pitch. 1 out walk. And here he comes. Yeah, Pete gave you those numbers. .349 career. 14 homers, 32 RBIs against the Nationals. When you hear those numbers, you would think the Pirates are in the East. But we only play these guys home and home once a year. That makes those numbers he has piled up even more impressive.
Yeah, and he's 6 for his last 12. So he's heating up. And when you talk to Pirates people, some of their coaches are saying his bat speed is back.
That is bad news for a lot of people. Short lead at first by Freese. McCutchen ripping. It's off to the right side. Andrew is 2 for 13 career against Strasburg with 1 RBI. Yeah, last year he hit .250 against the Nats. So some of that damage 2 years ago, but don't ease off the pedal here. So the slider up and in. Strasburg, 9th in the league in ERA, 6th in opponent's batting average, top 5 in strikeouts, which is impressive even though he's missed a couple of starts. And a 1-1. McCutchen waves at it. That was 89. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
A slider right here from Steven Strasburg. Didn't do a whole lot. Maybe the change in velocity acted more like a changeup. McCutchen way out front. I gotta say, because I'm thinking it, McCutchen's body type is different since the last time I saw him last year. He just looks like he's a little bit more stout than he was in previous years and not as lean. I mean, we don't see him every day, so we get the small snapshot. You see him on the highlights, you watch video, but you know, last year we saw him in Pittsburgh, he was, you know, a lot more lean than he is right now.
Clint Hurdle, his ball club's won 9 of 11. Took him a while to get over 500. They did it with a recent 7-game winning streak, and they're a half game behind St. Louis, 7.5 back. Actually 8 now back of the Cubs in the NL Central. Chicago beat Texas today, as we showed you. And a ball bouncing into the Pirates dugout.
I think it would be awesome if Clint Hurdle's ball club caught the Cubs. And you know what the storyline would be? Cubs choked. It would have nothing to do with how well the Pirates played, because you know, everybody talking about how great the Cubs are. They're the best team ever, the best team in the history of baseball. But if one of those ball clubs catches the Cubs,
not going to be pretty.
It'll be about the Cubs choking, not about how well the other teams are playing.
1-2 with 1 out, and he's reaching. Could be 2. And a quick turn by Trey Turner. Espinosa engineers the 6-4-3. Strasburg with a base on balls, and now the Nats have turned 87 double plays. Eighth in the league, 6th in runs, 1st in home runs with 124, and in the top 6 in team speed and steals. So Danny Espinosa goes into the break, 320 over 31 games with 26 RBIs. So you take it out now to about a 5 or 6 week period, and Danny's been fantastic. Here's something else. Facing a left-hander, Liriano, tonight. He's hitting .275, right-handed now. Here's the Pittsburgh lefty.
Yeah, he's been liking the right side of the plate. You see the arsenal for Francisco Liriano. 92 on the fastball, 85 on the slider, 85 on the changeup. Got no decision his last start on the 8th against the Cubs. Went 5 innings, gave up 2 runs on 3 hits, struck out 3, walked 3.
Yeah, and I know something else like it did when I saw it. Jumped off the stat sheet at you, and that's those 58 walks, most in the major leagues.
Yeah, got to make him throw strikes.
And you made the point that because he's walked so many, it's the reason that Liriano has not pitched deep into games this year. He's only gone 7 innings twice and hasn't done it since the middle of May. So Trey Turner And that's where the new screen by the dugout saves a bat from flying into the seats. So he'll get a new bat as the Pirate bat boy brings over the previous bat, and Trey will go back to the first one.
Got fooled on the changeup, couldn't extend far enough, and bat squirted it out of his left hand. That's all that was left.
Now this guy's got some kind of changeup when he's throwing well. Shift on, 3 Pirates on the left side of the infield. So Trey now 3 for 7 with a base on balls in 3 games. Went 0 for 4 Sunday in New York. He's going to slap this one to right center. It comes tailing back to Matt Joyce.
Oh, you were dying for another scouting report, weren't you? It's time for your Coons.com scouting report. Over 2 million vehicles sold and counting. In the zone, as Bob mentioned, 58 walks. That's the most in the big leagues. You got to make him throw strikes. And he can hit. Pirates have 9 hitters in their lineup tonight. He's 10 for 33, a double, 4 RBI, hitting .303 on the year.
Michael A. Taylor in the original lineup today was batting 7th in front of Danny Espinosa. Race to the bag. And a good job, David Freese, of getting it to Liriano early for the second out.
Here's your defense tonight for the Pirates. Marte, McCutchen, Joyce, the outfield. Mercer, Gung, left side. Harrison Freese, right side. And Eric Fryer behind the plate.
And their catcher, Francisco Cervelli, banged up. David Freese used to play third base in St. Louis and Anaheim. And he told me today that one of the guys that he's kind of watched making that transition is Ryan Zimmerman. He said he's been so impressed by what he's seen from Ryan the last year or two. And he says, hey, chance to stay in the big leagues a lot longer, play different positions, and hadn't played first base in a long, long time.
And word is he's an A-plus teammate.
That he always has been. That's a strike on the corner. Jason Worth, because of the Murphy scratch, becomes the number 3 hitter tonight. 0 for 5 with a walk, career against Liriano. Target in. Bryce is next. That one started a little bit outside and came back, 1 ball and 2 strikes. So Jason went into the break hitting .302 over his last 30 games. High in the air, left center. Marte going back, 377 mark, and just a few steps beyond that makes the grab. 1-2-3, go the Nats. Worth close to his 11th.
Shortstop by nature. He's been playing center field in AAA. Little second base as well. You see the 6-4-3 double play to end the first. Might be a double play combination you see a lot of until Ryan Zimmerman's back. Daniel Murphy was initially scheduled to play first tonight, so you see Turner on the back side of the bag, just getting rid of it quick. Clint Robinson with a nice stretch right there. So we thought we'd show you that.
Pretty smooth. Daniel Murphy represented the Nationals and the nation's capital very well the other night in San Diego. A couple of hits on base 3 times.
And no
Great
word
defense.
if he did that in the All-Star game or what happened to his leg.
Starling Marte goes up swinging on a 1-0 pitch. Jason Worth. So let's look at All-Star Daniel Murphy in San Diego.
I thought all the boys represented well. Daniel Murphy just does what he does. You know, just a hit off Dylan Betances. No big deal. The guy throws 100 with a nasty hook, and then
Look at that.
another one up the middle. So a couple of hits for Murphy. And then how about the play up the middle? There was a couple of runners on right here. This saved the big inning. Max Scherzer came in throwing 99. Bryce Harper had his first All-Star hit, a double. And Wilson Ramos told me a real cool story today that his wife surprised him with his parents in San Diego. They came from Venezuela to watch the game.
This one high in the air to right from Matt Joyce. It's coming down, Bryce. 2 down. That may be the highest fly ball caught by an outfielder we've seen this year in this park. Young Ho Gung will be next as Strasburg. 13 pitches, 8 strikes first inning, now has retired. 3 batters in a row very quickly, getting 4 outs.
But what a good story, right? Wilson Ramos, first time All-Star, had no idea, just went with his wife and his kid to San Diego, and then he was waiting in the lobby for a supposed dinner, and then here comes his mom and his dad. They come around the corner, a surprise from Venezuela to see their son in the All-Star game for the first time.
And go ahead and wear out those shirts. That's just fine.
Yeah.
Be as proud as you can. So here's Gung.
They don't look anything alike, do they? Oh my goodness. The buffalo doesn't fall far from the tree.
That's pretty funny. I mean, that reminds me of Orlando Cepeda and his dad. Remember, Orlando was called the Baby Bull.
Yeah.
So maybe there's a real buffalo that was around a lot sooner than this guy was. That's great. Left knee surgery started Gung on the DL to start the season. That's why they picked up David Freese to help out on the infield. And a very tardy swing on a 96-mile-an-hour heater. 7-pitch inning for Stephen Strasburg, and the All-Star 20 pitches in 2 innings. Down Half Street into the left center field gates here. Harper, Rendon, and Ramos coming up. When the Nats win and win big this year, and that's, by the way, scoring 7 or more with a W, you get 50% off regular menu price. Online orders at papajohns.com. Enter promo code NATS50. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's, official pizza of your Washington Nationals. And that's all valid at participating DMV Papa John's. Speaking of Papas, we have an interesting story to tell you in a moment about what the Pirates are doing on this trip. A short 3-game trip to Washington, and that's outside to Bryce Harper. Second inning underway. The Pirates are having Dad's Weekend. Their dads are with them. 20 or so were able to join their sons who play for the Pirates on this 3-game trip over to Washington. They're going right back to Pittsburgh after this. I think it's a fantastic thing, and how fun is that when the dads can all travel with the kids?
That is great. They were all in the dugout today for batting practice around the cage.
Yep.
Staff, everybody, not just the players. It's a father's trip.
Well, think about all the miles they drove for those kids, and now they get to go on a nice charter couple of airplane flights. Very cool.
I don't know if my dad could have handled the road trip with me. He'd had to bring a helmet, a mouthpiece, and I don't know if he'd have been able to survive.
1-2 to Harper. Up and way in.
So that's the Pirates' philosophy. If you remember last year and previous years, you talk to the Nats players, they're well aware of the Pirates pitching inside. That's what they teach in their minor leagues. They're not afraid to go in. They're not afraid to hit you if they go in. They want to command the inside part of the plate because they feel that's where the most damage is done. They start this philosophy in the minor leagues, and their big league pitchers do it all the time. You'll see it this weekend a lot. You know, you turn the highlights. Who's always getting in the skirmishes and the brawls? It's the Pirates because they pitch in. That's what they teach.
Yeah.
They don't teach, hey, drill guys. They just say, we're pitching in. That's our part of the plate. If we hit you, we hit you.
3-2 to Harper. That was Ray Searage, you saw, their pitching coach. That ball gashed into right field. Josh Harrison able to handle it out on the grass. And that's 4 straight for Liriano to start the game. He only threw 10 pitches in the first inning. Jeep takes us inside the numbers, and we'll go back to that 94 team. We talked about the Expos that were headed to their greatest season ever before it was interrupted by the lockout August 12th of 1994. And the Nats better than any team but that.
Well, I think 2005 shows you there's a long way to go in this thing.
Yeah.
Don't celebrate at the All-Star break. It's a nice start. There's a long way to go. The Pirates are here. The Dodgers are coming. They're going to Cleveland and San Francisco. You have to be ready to play coming out of the gate for the second half. And they know that, too. They do. Dusty's not going to let them let up.
Yeah. Anthony Rendon, the most success of any Nats hitter against Liriano. 3 for 7 career. Couple of RBIs, couple of walks.
And I always love the way the media just anointed the Expos the World Series in '94 just because they had that record at the break. Were they talented? Yes, more than any team in the National League that year. But there's a lot of baseball left to be played, and they never got to play it. So you can't just say, oh, it would have been the Yankees and the Expos that year for sure. No, you don't know that.
Yeah. Well, and you made a heck of a point the last time we talked about this. If that season doesn't get interrupted and the Expos go deep into October, would they have left Montreal 10 years later?
Yeah, you and I may not be talking right now.
We'd probably be, you know,
we would be, just wouldn't be
doing double-A games somewhere.
I'd be talking to Tarp somewhere, trying to make friends.
Yeah, and you don't know this, but your kids told me we really needed Dad to go back to work Friday. Well, he was a little much to deal with during the break, and I'm kidding.
No, it's true. It's a whole Papelbon DL thing. My kids couldn't wait for me to get back here.
1-2. Off speed and Rendon into right field. Circling back and now coming in, Matt Joyce. 2 down, 5 in a row for Liriano.
Dusty's got a bobblehead, in case you hadn't heard. It's his 25th one of the year. This one's on Tuesday, July 19th. Nats take on the Dodgers. For tickets, visit nationals.com/tickets. Dusty in the dugout with the toothpick, sweatbands. The whole deal. Love it.
And why not with the Dodgers in town? Wilson Ramos. 302 career against Pittsburgh.
And talk to him about the All-Star experience. He's nothing but smiles. He says the greatest thing ever.
Liriano's been tough on Wilson over the years. 1 for 9, 5 strikeouts.
Told me a funny story. Anthony Rizzo was throwing the ball around between innings. You know, you throw ground balls to all the infielders. He threw one to, I think it might have been Daniel Murphy. Whoever's playing second base, the ball hit a bird on the way and the bird just exploded.
Oh boy.
A lot like Randy Johnson in spring training that year. It wasn't on TV, but Wilson said everybody saw it and couldn't believe what they saw.
One and 2 to Ramos.
Might have been Ben Zobrist. I'm not sure, but either way, bird down.
That's in there. Liriano looking sharp. 6 batters up and down. No score. Each pitcher has faced just 6. Right after you check out MLB.com at bat. Follow Nats Baseball Live with the #1 app for live baseball on your phone or tablet. Game day, StatCast, highlights. Download MLB.com at bat.
Or catch Pokemon, one or the other.
Now that's getting out of hand.
That's crazy.
Top of the third, Jordy Mercer, Eric Fryer, Francisco Liriano.
At least it's getting kids off the couch from eating Cheetos. They're walking around playing video games now, actually interacting with other humans.
That's a novel idea. Jordy Mercer, 270 this year. He sits safely in 19 of his last 23 games. Up the middle. There with a good backhand pickup on a hot shot, Trey Turner.
Well, he's played by Trey. When you sit on a ball like this, sometimes to the backhand, you're at the mercy of the hop. But watch Trey Turner just stay soft with it and then use that shortstop arm from deep second base. But watch how early he sets up. But he does a nice job of looking the ball right into his glove, giving with the ball a little bit, and then the sidearm throw, the strong arm. Nice play.
Here's Eric Fryer catching tonight. Their other catcher is longtime Philly Eric Kratz, who's a Virginia guy. Fryer was with St. Louis earlier this season and was hitting the heck out of the ball when he got a chance to play with Yadier Molina sideline here and there. He hit 368 and 38 at bats for St. Louis. They put him on waivers and the Pirates picked him up July 3rd. He's come over to the Pirates and gone 6 for 15 with 5 RBIs. Two and one. 30 years of age, from Columbus, Ohio. He was a Buckeye, hit .338 in 3 years in the capital city. 2-2.
I mean, are you off to a good start if you're Stephen Strasburg and you have a chance to do something that hasn't been done since 1912?
Yeah, anytime you're talking about something that hasn't been done in over a century, crazy, crazy. Harper's got it. Next up is Liriano. More history for Stephen Strasburg. Jeep takes his inside, some numbers. So 12-0 or better at the break all time. Dave McNally of the Orioles, who lost the World Series that year to the Miracle Mets. Brooks Lawrence of the Reds way back when. Elroy Face, some called him Roy, of the Pirates. In there. Liriano, as FP mentioned, can hack. 10 for 33, 4 RBIs this year. He's a 150 career hitter. He and Strasburg have faced each other before. He's 0 for 3 against Steven. Strauss is 0 for 2 against him. Strike two. They're still coming in. Nice crowd here tonight as the boys return for game number 91 of the year. One-two pitch. Liriano levels off and stays alive. Right down the middle. That was the Express. Strasburg, 134 strikeouts on the year, and he's been pretty solid through 3.
The week is over. Brought to you by Dominion National, providing initiative high-value dental and vision benefits to area employers and individuals. Smile! It's Friday, and you're at the ballpark, and the Nats are playing baseball again. It's a beautiful night for baseball, and Max Scherzer knows something about beautiful nights in baseball.
June 20th, 2015. Max Scherzer. Fly ball. Harrison, left center. The eyes light up. Taylor has it. No hitter. Almost perfect. Not sure what Jose Tabata is doing right now, but he was DFA'd by the Pirates shortly thereafter. What a day for Max Scherzer.
You know, I don't miss that. I'm not going to lie.
I'm sure Mike Wallace and his staff downstairs don't miss that.
I could sit here and say, oh, I miss the chocolate sauce. No, I don't. That always creeped me out. And just, it was original was the thing I liked about it most, but no, I don't miss it. I think that was Max's idea, too. Sorry, Max.
Danny Espinosa, 245 career against the Bucks. But a big number, as I mentioned, when we did the lineups, he's hitting 275 now, right-handed.
Thinking back, I think that's the most I've ever lost my mind on the air when Tabata leading into that ball. And for a guy that got hit by a lot of pitches like Danny Espinosa, a lot of times it's a reflex. You just really can't help it. You just do it. But Tabata's not known for that. And when he argued with the umpire and showed him his elbow that he got hit and that he wanted to get hit to break up the perfect game, that's when I lost my mind. I think a lot of fans at home lost their mind.
Well, fortunately, a cool head on the mound prevailed and got the no-hitter.
And I went up to Max the next day, and I was still livid. I said, I can't say it on TV, but about it, he just leaned into it. Max like, hey, I made a bad pitch. And that's all he said. He blamed himself. And I was still upset about Tabata. And he wasn't. Accountability.
Over the years, whether it's pitchers or position players who might have had a bad day or a bad series, I constantly marvel at the Major League Baseball players' ability to turn the page and move on.
And to point your finger at yourself. You don't get here blaming other people.
Well, he's got some kind of stuff going tonight. Liriano's brought that curveball back in a couple of times, or the slider that's 86 for called strikes, and that one just overmatched Danny Espinosa. Metro's extensive track work could limit your travel options. For help getting around, look for Mission Metro alerts on WUSA 9 and download the WUSA 9 app right now. And really do that if you're planning on any kind of travel either through or near Washington Reagan Airport, because the track's right there just north of the airport, affected by that. So check in with WUSA 9. They'll keep you posted. Clint Robinson, career against the Pirates, 5 for 23. One of those hits against this lefty. He rips that one to his left. David Freese, 2 outs. Strasburg next.
Kind of what you'd expect coming out of a 4-day break. Hitters will tell you they can lose their rhythm in a couple of days, so 4 days off. Not a lot of offense going on yet. 2 pitchers with pretty good stuff on top of that, so it'll take a minute to get that rhythm back.
Strasburg 5 for 38 this year. Counts even 1-1. Liriano career 7 wins away from 100. Just 245th start tonight. 32 years of age. Strasburg, a chopper left side and well foul. It was great when Steven was introduced. Got a very nice reception from the fans in San Diego. Couldn't get over, though, the way they reacted anytime a Dodger or a Giant was introduced or did anything. That's what's great about baseball fans. Yeah, we're at the All-Star game. We paid a lot of money for these tickets, but we still don't like the Dodgers and the Giants. Swing and a miss. 3 perfect innings for Francisco Liriano here tonight in Strasburg. Walked 1, just about the same. Nationals baseball is brought to you by the RAV4 Hybrid all-wheel drive unexpected performance. Visit buyatoyota.com. This evening, warm night, great baseball night at the Yard. Still some afterglow from the All-Star game for Strasburg, Scherzer, Ramos, Murphy, Harper. You're looking at one of the great arms in the National League right now. 32 pitches, 21 strikes. 7 straight retired. Let's talk about rocket arms, brought to you by Quicken Loans. So for guys who've had a minimum of 100 decisions, highest career winning percentages, Chien-Ming Wang is on that list. Great names, guys who are durable, who are winners, who go after hitters. By the way, that Strasburg ERA career to go along with those 66 wins, 3.04. Josh Harrison, top of the order. Two hopper to Danny Espinosa, first time up. Breaking ball, hot shot, 1 hopper to Espinosa, and then the big time finish. Danny Espinosa for the first out, top of the 4th.
Oh my. I mean, he's got an above average runner, so Harrison hits it hard. You have to give with it. Watch how quick he gets set and throws with something on it. So the hard part really isn't the stop. We've seen him do it before. I mean, it wasn't easy, but the way he got up, made that throw so quick on the money is why I'm up here scratching my head. So yeah, the stop was good. It wasn't easy, but the way he got up and made that throw with something on it to get Harrison by 2 steps, wow. Nice play, Danny Espinosa.
There's David Freese, the only Pittsburgh base runner so far. Strasburg walked him with 1 out, first inning. Then he raced him on a 6-4-3 double play ball off the bat of Andrew McCutchen. What a luxury for our pitchers to know there can be some contact, and the major league's #1 defense is behind them.
I mean, hard contact. That ball was smoked on an in-between hop, so he had to give with the hop #1 and be soft, and then scramble to his feet with an inside turn and flat-footed get rid of it right on the money. Degree of difficulty was about a 9.9 on that play.
Target into Freese.
I mean, this is as good as it gets. This is the big leagues, folks. This is how you play shortstop at the highest level. You think it's easy to get a hit up here? It ain't.
Yeah, Danny Espinosa did not take his at bat out to the field with him this inning.
Yeah, good point.
2-2 with one out.
What do you got on the temperature right now? Strasburg's looks a little bit warm. It's a warm night.
Yeah.
That's going to be a factor for both pitchers. Still 88 out. Humidity 176%.
Two with one out. Freeze jammed. Got a good piece of it. Taylor in center. Hey, they say you got to be strong up the middle, and the Nats certainly are.
Well, from one center fielder to another, Michael A. Taylor with a nice play. Let's check out Andrew McCutchen versus Steven Strasburg fastball. And we mentioned the numbers, right? McCutchen with some serious ownage on the Washington Nationals, but Strasburg playing some hardball here with 95s, 96s. Little change up there. You've seen them all. There's the slider cutter thing for the 6-4-3 double play. So getting a lot of help from his defense tonight so far is Steven Strasburg.
Oh, 0-1 pitch. Perfect. So topping out at 97 with the heater early.
So this isn't 88 or 89 on the black. Look at the location of this pitch. Now look at the velocity. So 96 with location. Good luck.
Mercedes-Benz on the pitch track, and here comes another. Low and in. Deep short again. Backhand. Bang. Runner is out. 10 straight for Strasburg, seeking his 13th straight win, and big time D behind him right now.
We all saw around the cage today, Dusty Baker is one of the better hitting coaches in baseball. Doesn't get enough credit for it. You know, Rick Shoe, Jock Jones love his help. He's talking to Trey Turner behind the cage, and he's telling him to get on top of the ball to right field. Watch Dusty kind of demonstrate how he wants to get on top of that baseball and hit the low line drive to right field, and Trey trying to kind of imitate it, emulate it. He was working on it during BP today. And Dusty just wants him to use that speed. Get on top of that baseball when it's going the other way. And Trey hit a low line drive to right his first time up. So he's working on it. But in order to use that speed, Dusty wants him to throw that top shoulder kind of right back toward the pitchers. You see him do it right there. And when you throw that back shoulder at the pitcher, it keeps the barrel above your hands. It keeps the ball low on a line or on the ground. And that's what he wants his speedy second baseman to make a habit, hitting the ball hard on the ground to the right side.
There you go.
Or the left side.
His last at bat Sunday in New York was a hard line drive to right. So Trey's hit it hard 3 times in a row, and he's aboard. First time the Nats reach a base today.
Well, there goes the no-hitter, and you see him throwing that top shoulder toward the baseball, and the pitch kind of is going to dictate where the baseball goes. So Liriano tried to come in. Trey Turner beat him to the point of contact. A low, hard ground ball. Dusty Baker, teacher, pupil, nicely done.
Can you count to 19? That's how many consecutive batters had been retired by both pitchers prior to that base hit. So here's Taylor. Little bouncer to the right side first time. He'll take that one up and away.
I just think if you let Trey Turner go, he's going to be some kind of player. Wherever you put him on defense, I think that part's kind of not the story. His offense plays at this level for sure.
25 stolen bases at Syracuse. So Gung even with a bag at third. Mercer, Harrison pinching up the middle. So a couple of things in play here. The aforementioned base runner and blinding speed in the batter's box. Mets have an early run at Philadelphia. Bartolo Colon and Jeremy Hellickson there. .8:15 game at St. Louis tonight, Eastern time. The Marlins are throwing Wei-Yin Chen. Outside, good take, 3-1. Table setters trying to build an inning here. Nissan will track the AB. Shows indeed that pitch number 4 was a really good take by Michael A.
You see, that's an example of swinging with the count right there. Michael Taylor did a nice job of working it to 3-1, but then got a 3-1 change out of the zone and swung at it. And when you're a young hitter, a lot of times you get so excited that you got to a 3-1 count. Hey, it's the big leagues. He's got to throw a strike here. I'm swinging. That was ball 4. It was a changeup. Definitely not what he was looking for location or pitch-wise.
3-2. Turner holding. Ball 4. 2 on, nobody out. Speed to burn out there. And Jason Worth, a very selective hitter, is next.
Pretty close pitch. He went with the slider here. 3-2. Didn't come back, sort of. And Michael Taylor draws the walk. Nice at bat. Line moving here in the bottom of the 4th.
Worth solid contact first time. A high, deep fly ball to left center, caught by Starling Marte to the right of the 377 mark. So Bryce is next. Freeze way off the line at first. Harrison nearly up the middle. That one tails to the outside edge.
I don't think Jason liked this call. It was close. Liriano not around the strike zone, but he gets the borderline pitch.
3 strikeouts tonight, 98. 1 walk, 59. Worth, a tapper. Play at second. And somehow coming down with it, Josh Harrison. I'm sure the club also have a close look at that one.
So when the Nats were in New York, that Fox Saturday game, Carp, I went to the replay center and I saw how they did it. They invited me in, and before a challenge, they're rushing toward the screen already to look at this. One umpire is at every game. They're sitting there watching. And what they can do, and he looks safe right there to me, are they going to look at it? Maybe they got him right here on the shoulder. Oh, he didn't hit the bag. I think if he slides into the bag, he's safe, but he didn't.
Yeah, because Harrison did not come down in time to force him out.
I mean, that's the case where you're not breaking up the double play. You're just trying to beat it. And for some reason, Michael Taylor didn't slide into the base. I'll get back to the replay story when it matters.
First and third, 1 out. Harper, swing and a miss. Bryce sitting on 52 RBIs. And a bouncer. They'll try to tone 2 here, and they will be able to do it. So the Nats had 2-1, nobody out. A close play and then a double play. Nothing doing, 4th inning.
They're being thrown around here tonight at Nats Park. Both sides, really. We're going to show you some Nats defense. The 6-4-3 double play was nice, but this is nicer. Unbelievable play by Espinoza. And this one, going the hole, show the bazooka. Right over the top. I want to know how hard that one was. I guarantee it was 90 plus. Danny Espinoza putting on a clinic tonight at shortstop so far in this one.
10 straight retired by Strasburg. Through 4. 1 base runner, a walk to Freeze in the first. He raced on a double play. So he has faced the minimum number of hitters possible so far. Here's Starling Marte. More hits against Steven than anybody in the Pirate lineup tonight. 3 career, 3 for 10. Strike 1.
You know what's so cool about watching Danny play short? Remember last year he played first. Never done that before. He played left field. He played third. He played an occasional short. He played second. He played wherever Matt Williams wanted to play. And now he always believed in himself as a shortstop. He's an everyday guy. He's getting it done defensively for sure. 18 home runs, 49 RBI, offensively check. So you're looking at a guy that was a utility player last year, now playing the heck out of shortstop this year. Remember Milwaukee, Carp? They didn't even take BP, and Matt said, "You want to play first?" He's like, "Yeah, I've never done it, but I'll do it." Okay.
Yeah. He was a good super sub, but you got to love him as an everyday shortstop. 1-2 to Marte. Fly ball to left first time. Marte, a .283 hitter into this season. He put up some power numbers last year. 19 homers, 81 batted in, while hitting .287. This year, 6 homers, 32 batted in, but he's running wild on the bases with 30 steals. That'll move him back 2-2.
To throw the slider away, let's see what they do.
Nationals at home, 27-15. They've gone 13-4 recently. Washington won 4 out of 7 against Pittsburgh last year. 2-2 and a ball drilled to center. Pirates have their first base hit. He was the guy you figured might do it, as Marte's been a hitting machine for them all year. That's his 100th hit of the year, 6th most in the National League.
Well, now the fun begins. You got 30 stolen bases. On first, he's only been caught 6 times. Pretty good swing. I was thinking it. I know you were.
Yeah. There's Matt Joyce. Nats fans haven't seen much of him over the years. He was in town with the Rays a couple of years ago. Most of his career with Tampa Bay. He was with the Angels last year. Really had a rough time. Hit a .174. Pirates signed him as a free agent. He's been very good for Pittsburgh.
So there's only been 3 attempts at stealing a base against Strasburg this year, and they've all been unsuccessful. You'd think there'd be more than 3, right? I guess stealing first is the hard part.
Yeah, got to be on. And I thought this was interesting. I think I mentioned this a couple of weeks ago. And the number has gone up some. But the entire year, in 90 previous games, only 42 base runners have attempted to steal against the Nationals. Ramos has thrown out 9. Lobaton has thrown out 4 more. So Mike Maddox's staff has been holding guys and at times getting them thrown out. Pirates are a good running team. 68 steals, 3rd in the league. Josh Harrison, 14 out of 15. Gregory Polanco, who's on the bench tonight, has 9. Ramos a bullet, but it comes up short. So that's number 31 for Starling Marte, tying him for 1st in the league.
It just goes to show you how Steven Strasburg has evolved as a pitcher when teams used to run wild on him. And I think a good throw has Marte right there. It's just that Wilson had to rush. You see him peek at the runner out of the corner of his eye before he threw that. And Espinosa can't pick the in-between hop. And a good throw might have had him. First stolen base of the year against Steven Strasburg, 31st for Marte.
It's a big 90 feet in a game like this. No score, top 5. So Joyce looking at least to pull the ball on the ground, advance the runner. Strasburg's going to throw him what appeared to be a changeup at 86. Espinosa right at the bag.
Doubled up on the changeups, and Joyce is not biting. He's seeing it early.
So the 3-1 goes the other way. Long run, Anthony Rendon, and he's got it near the barrier. Fantastic play by Anthony Rendon, and the runner freezes at second.
I'll tell you what, while you're not seeing the timing offensively because of the break, what you are seeing is some spring in some legs that you didn't see before the break. So 4 days off, you're seeing guys bounce around, great plays everywhere, and this one right up there with Danny Espinosa's, maybe even better, the play of the night, if you will, considering the circumstances. Joyce trying to move the runner, pop up down the line, and an unbelievable play by Anthony Rendon. How about the left side of the infield tonight, folks?
Here's Jung Ho Kang. Pardon me, Jung Ho Kang, who broke onto the scene with a .287 rookie year last year. Pirates signed him as a free agent January of 15. After some great years in the Korean League, he's from Seoul, South Korea.
I mean, I'm watching that ball from where we're sitting. I'm watching Rendon run for it. I'm thinking, no shot. He can't get that ball. A, is it staying in? And B, there's no way he's getting there. Because he was playing a little bit over because you're thinking Joyce is trying to pull the ball.
One pitch, rolls it over, and over to third goes Marte as Espinosa throws out Kang. Home field advantage brought to you by Lowe's. So there is the 13-4 we talked about. The Nats have been doing lately. Over 6 runs a game, plus 52 on the differential. Right now the Nats have scored 422, given up 317. Runners in scoring position check, ERA good, and opponents not doing a whole lot of hitting in this ballpark. 2-out chance now for Jordy Mercer.
A lot of taters in there too. A lot.
Mercer first time.
25 homers.
Hit that shot up the middle. Robbed by Turner. And that one just beyond the reach of Clint Robinson. Might have broken his bat on that one, and the Pirates lead 1-0. Clint trying to draw a beat on it, and it kept going away from him.
Kind of hard to tell from way up here if the speed of that ball fooled Clint Robinson or just kind of tailed away from him because of the broken bat. Nice piece of hitting, first of all. And this will show you right here. It just kind of right out of his reach. I thought initially he had it, but it might have been hit a little bit harder than we all thought.
Here's Eric Fryer, the catcher, number 8 hitter. Mercer, 32nd RBI. Fryer, fly ball to Harper first time. Outfield around to the right a bit. Mercedes-Benz will track 94.
Boy, look at the pattern, everything down the way. Good execution.
And this one popped up way up there, right side. Turner waiting for it. So Starling Marte, the Pirates' best hitter this year, manufactures a run. Anthony Rendon hoping to do the same for the Nats. And then all of a sudden, nobody could stand up. Not sure why George collapsed. A pratfall by 2 or 3 others. And I don't know, is today National Slip and Slide Day? I don't know.
It's National Give Something Away Day, National Pet Fire Safety Day, National Tapioca Pudding Day, and National I Love Horses Day. So
there was tapioca on the warning track.
Oh, all right.
There you go. By the way, Teddy has 12 wins. George has 10.
Well, it's National Marine Corps Day here at Nats Park, Wednesday, July 20th. Part of the team's series of military branch days. That's delivered by UPS. Visit nationals.com/tickets. July 20th, 7:05. Dodgers coming to town.
Bottom of the 5th. Anthony Rendon fly ball to right his first time. The Nats have 1 hit. Trey Turner's clean single to left last time up. That's a hot shot to the right side. Harrison to his left, 1 out. Ramos and Espinosa, the next 2. As I mentioned, left-hander's been troublesome for Wilson career. Not there. He goes the other way, so maybe that's the key. All that off-speed stuff that had him 1 for 10, and Ramos stays on it. Nationals base hit number 2.
Well, I think Francisco Liriano's established he's throwing strikes tonight. So what's that mean? Well, maybe early in the game you were thinking I'm going to draw a walk off him, and now you go up Hackett, and all the Buffaloes happy. Look at him. It's a stampede.
Danny Espinosa on a breaking ball, struck out by Liriano first time.
See, that looked like a good idea by Wilson. I'm going to do the same thing, Swing. You see a guy in front of you get a base hit on the first pitch, you're walking up there thinking, okay, that's my game plan too.
That'll even things up 1-1.
Talking to some of the Pirates people about Liriano today, they were saying that he's had trouble repeating his mechanics and throwing the ball out of the same window. You remember we showed you release points of all the Nats starters? Well, when he's truly effective, his fastball, slider, and change are all coming out of the same window, and as a hitter, it's tough to pick up. This year, he's had different release points on different pitchers, so big league hitters see that, and now you not necessarily know what's coming. You just have a better idea, a sense, so to speak, based on where the ball's coming out of. When he throws it out of the same spot, you don't know what it is, and he got a lot more chases and swings and misses last season as compared to this year.
Two-one, target still away. Danny Espinosa can't make contact yet against Liriano with these swings. High chopper. The race is on, and that's a base hit. Nothing Jung Ho Kang could do, and the Nats have back-to-back hits in the 5th inning.
Yeah, this one's just too high. He knew as soon as this ball hit with Danny Espinosa's speed, put it in your pocket, smelling the hit all the way. So Nats in business again here in the bottom of the 5th, putting some pressure the last 2 innings on Liriano.
Bottom of the order here, lefty-lefty matchup. Clint Robinson hit the ball hard first time. David Freese picked it off, went to the bag and retired him. Two and 0.
Nice stop.
Liriano 5-8 on the season. High ERA 5.15. 18th start. And Robinson all in on a 2-0.
Liriano went down. Is he okay? Fryer going to come out and check his left-hander, but after the pitch, Something happened. No trainers out. Here we go. He's all right. Maybe just a little slippage. Stride leg go out from under him.
Robinson a base hit. Here comes Wilson Ramos. He scores. Espinoza to third. And Clint Robinson, yeah, it happened again. Wasn't supposed to start the game, and he gets the Nats back even. How often do you see that happen?
So McCutcheon's shading Robinson to right or left center, and he hits it to right center. So McCutcheon has to come in and over. He kind of plays this casually and allows Danny Espinoza to get to third. The ball was hit slow enough to score Wilson Ramos, and all the Buffaloes digging it, the dugout digging it. But give Robinson a lot of credit for a nice piece of hit, and Espinoza a lot of credit for hustling into third base. And McCutcheon did not look healthy going after that ball.
Strasburg trying to bunt. At least getting Robinson to second base, and if it's good enough, maybe you get the bonus plan and Danny Espinoza scores. So 3 hits in a row. Clint Robinson, by the way, 17th RBI in his 20th start. Strasburg checks off and swings away. That'll cause the third baseman to flinch a bit, and now it's 0-2.
So the way Andrew McCutcheon came for this baseball, watch how he kind of gingerly goes after it and rounds into the ball. Right at the end. See him kind of square up to the ball, field it, and then throw it into second base. Maybe I'm just used to seeing him flying after that and holding the runners, but Danny Espinoza took advantage of that. And maybe he didn't have a play at third. I don't know.
Strasburg pulling the bat back after squaring. 1 ball, 2 strikes. And that's it, 2 outs. Strasburg unable to make any kind of contact. 4th K for Francisco Liriano. Our next 5 games, 2 of them against the Pirates. Then the Dodgers come in. Hey, if you want some matinee baseball, check out noon next Thursday. Tanner Roark, Garrett Cole tomorrow night. Max Scherzer, Chad Kuhl Sunday afternoon. Tanner will be looking for number 9. Max will be looking for number 11. Top of the order, Turner. Where they are giving Trey Turner 100 feet of room on the right side of the infield. Base hit last time, lined out to right first time. 2 good ABs tonight. Right back to the pitcher. So the Nats tied the game. Couldn't cash in that runner from third with fewer than 2 outs, and after 5, 1-1. Beautiful mid-July sunset. Looking west from the nation's capital, we go top 6. Liriano, Harrison, and Freeze against Steven Strasburg. He and Liriano matching each other almost pitch for pitch. Steven 65 pitches. Francisco 67. Strasburg 43 strikes. Liriano 45. Pretty good hack, 1-1.
Trying to go deep.
He's done it once in his career. Took Matt Latos deep of the Dodgers last year. And there's the Pirates box score. Marte, the base hit, his 31st steal. 2 outs later, Jordy Mercer drives him in. Two. One walk, 2 Ks, 2 hits tonight. Swing and a miss. So the 6th inning off to a good start. Top of the order coming up next.
Well, it's time for Toyota K's for Kids. Washington area Toyota dealers want to help children and their families by making a donation of $37 to the Children's Inn at NIH for every strikeout by a Nats pitcher this season.
Very efficient tonight. So not many strikeouts. Great defense. Keeping that pitch count down. And he only gets better as a rule this time of the game as we embark on the Pirates' 3rd time around.
Yeah, opposing hitters this year when they're ahead in the count 295, even 237, behind 121 off Steven Strasburg.
And that was a hitter behind a mid-90s hitter. Very tardy. Harrison 2 to short tonight. Won a fantastic play by Espinoza last time up. Tardy again. High in the air to left for Jason Worth. When you have insight, you know how to handle your finances with confidence. Brought to you by PNC Bank. For the achiever in you. We've been keeping track of Max Schrock lately, 21-year-old shortstop, High A Potomac. So put all the runs, rather the numbers together, including the runs. He's having quite a season. 18 in a row for a 13th rounder just a year ago.
5'8", 180. Call him up. He's ready.
Max Schrock. That's a slider that was up, but it was under the ceiling of the zone. Strike 1 to David Freese.
We watch a lot of baseball, obviously. We see a lot of pitchers. I don't know that I've ever seen anybody that just, when they get into the rhythm, like Strasburg, you can just sense it, right? It's kind of like that internal clock in your head as an infielder. You know that this play's taking a long time. I got to get rid of it. When you're watching Strasburg, you feel it. You look up and he's in the rhythm. It's the whole freight train thing I always talk about, going downhill. He just, right around the 3rd or 4th, it depends on how quick he gets into it. It's just fun to watch. You just see him. He gets it and goes. It's fascinating to watch. Of all the pitchers we see, he relies on rhythm more than anybody.
So pitch number 80 will be next. And a chance to get through 6 with economy. Steven has gone 6 innings or more, 15 of his 16 starts. Target in. David Freese on an off-speed pitch. Strikes out. So it is 80 for Strasburg. 6 very good innings. Taylor, Worth, and Harper straight ahead. Baseball brought to you by T-Mobile. David Ortiz, fresh off a love fest in San Diego. Oldest player to lead the major leagues in extra base hits at the break, 57. Second most home runs ever in the first half. Only 2000 went further and higher. And the White Sox have turned 3 triple plays this season. And I don't like anybody's chance of catching them in that particular stat. But hey, they've got 70-some games to turn another one.
Hall of Famer, yes or no? David
Ortiz? That whole DH thing, you know. Edgar Martinez isn't in yet, so should David Ortiz go in before Edgar?
Wow, I'd have to look at the numbers. But right off the top of my head, I'd say no. But I don't know that Edgar Martinez had as many clutch hits as Ortiz.
Yeah, he didn't get to plan as many playoff teams as Big Papi, obviously.
Just watching Danny Espinosa play short tonight, think there's 2 sides to this game, lumber and leather. But he's had an amazing career that we all wish we could have had, and he's supposedly the nicest guy on the planet. So
what a beautiful night. Flags waving gently. Breaking ball stays outside. 2-2 to Michael A. Taylor, who had a really good at bat last time. Walking, but on a grounder to Worth, he didn't go straight for the bag, or the Nats might have had the bases loaded, nobody out. That one hugging the line and going foul. So the Nats box, just 2 hits. Actually, that was counting Turner's in the 4th and Ramos. Then the Nats went back to back with Espinosa's infield chopper, and then Robinson's hit. So it's 1-4-0 Nats, stranding 3, 1-2-0 Pirates, stranding just 1. 2-2 to Michael A.
not where Liriano wanted that slider.
Liriano trying to go at least 6 tonight. He's gone beyond 6 only 3 times all year and hasn't done it in almost 2 months. Taylor no chance on that one, diving down and in. Liriano strikeout number 5.
Nats fans, spend the summer at the ballpark with us with the Summer Saver Pack. You buy 3 2016 regular season games, you get 1 free. Some restrictions apply. Visit nationals.com/summer for all the details.
Jason Worth. Liriano's got some zip on that heater tonight, and that's the second time in 3 at-bats that Jason has disagreed with Ron Kulpa. 1 away and this 1 in. Looked like he held.
So both pitches in the same area, right?
Nissan tracking a couple down and in, but it's 1-1. Worth out to second. Josh Harrison 2 down. Next up, Bryce Harper.
DC Lexus dealers are donating $250 to the Children's National Health System for every home run a Nats player hits this season. So keep them coming, Bryce. It's for a wonderful cause. Lexus, the pursuit of perfection.
Harper has 1 career homer against Francisco Liriano. 1 shy of 20. Fly ball to left. 1 hopper back to the mound. There was a 1-6-3 double play 2 innings ago. Mets have added 3 runs and lead at Philadelphia 4-0, 6th inning. Marlins are at St. Louis tonight. It's early there, scoreless. 2-1. Big crowd tonight.
Do you throw him a fastball here in a 3-1 count, tie ball game, 2 outs, bottom of the 6th? And if you're Bryce Harper, do you look for a fastball here, or do you just totally disregard it and sit on something slow? Hard for hitters to do that.
Yeah.
Slider coming.
Outside, and Harper walks for a league-leading 71st time. Most in all of baseball. That gets Anthony Rendon in with 2 outs in the 6th. Liriano now 60 walks on the year.
Tex Masson's word of the day, Outback to 29292 for your chance to win a signed Mike Rizzo baseball and Outback gift card from Masson. That's Outback to 29292, brought to you by Outback Steakhouse. Open for lunch every Bloomin' Day with over 70 combos starting at $6.99.
Great jump, and Bryce Harper into second base without a throw. And that's his 14th of the year in 20 attempts.
I was going to say, don't forget about Bryce with 13 stolen bases, but I had to tell you about Outback. So there's 14 for Bryce Harper.
I know, but you get a free bloomin' onion for that.
I mean, so big stolen base here in a 1-1 game. $6.99.
Rendon, a good take on a ball that looked like it was a strike for a while and then had some subtle fade away from him. 1-1 with 2 outs. Anthony's driven in 33 this year. Went into the break hitting .283 his last 2 weeks. That's in there.
So really good arm in left with Marte. Strong and accurate. McCutchen can throw in center, and you're going to have to hustle to right too.
Close. Great take. Liriano had some steps toward the dugout going there.
So did Eric the Friar. Pretty good pitch. Goes Rendon's way.
Don't take another one there. Counts full. During those 14 games I told you about going into the break, Rendon 9 walks, 11 runs.
Is this where as a hitter you're thinking, okay, Wilson Ramos is on deck. He's hitting .330. First base is open, but I should get something to hit right here based on who's standing in the on-deck circle. Doesn't necessarily have to be a fastball, but I have a better chance because Ramos is on deck.
Yeah, there's the guessing game.
Yeah, it is. And you think like that as a hitter. At least you hope that a lot of hitters think like that. But if you have a guy on deck hitting 190 right now, you're thinking, well, he's not going to give me anything to hit right here, but I have to be ready for it. But when you have an all-star on deck, you're thinking he has to pitch to me right now. He doesn't want to pitch to the all-star.
One ball game, bottom of the 6th. Anthony Rendon with a solid at bat. Liriano walks 2 in a row, 3 on the night, and has to deal with Ramos, who singled the other way last time up.
So Ramos last time up, first pitch fastball single to right. See what Liriano does. Yeah, that definitely deserves a trip from your pitching coach. You have to figure it out right now. It's a big part of the game.
So that's Ray Searage to the mound. Pirates pitching staff coming into this series better lately, but they've scuffled this year. 4.36 ERA. The Nats at 3.29. There's Neftali Feliz. They have a very good closer in Mark Melancon, who's 27 out of 28. He was on the All-Star team. But there have been times when the starters and Liriano's in this group just haven't pitched deep enough into games. So I mentioned that he hasn't pitched deep this year. He's gone 6 innings in just 1 of his last 7 starts. McCutchen toward right center. Joyce right field, not that deep. The deepest of the outfielders, Marte on the pull side. We've seen Wilson Ramos get a hold of a few and hit it over right fielders' heads. Target away. To short. Mercer. High throw and pulled in by David Freese, and the Nats have stranded 4 runners in the last 2 innings. 1-1, 7th inning straight ahead.
cruise into the top of the 7th inning here at Nats Park. First game back from the All-Star break. It's time for some key in the driver's seat, and Stephen Strasburg, who chose not to pitch in the All-Star game with the organization, they both agreed on it, has been lights out here in his first game back against the Pirates. So the fastball, curveball, slider, cutter thing, changeup combination on point. Getting into the flow of the game nicely, giving up just the 1 run in the 5th inning.
So here comes another Strasburg-McCutchen matchup. 2 balls to short tonight. One a 6-4-3 double play first inning. The other into the hole, backhanded by Espinoza. Danny can't get to that one, and Andrew McCutchen's aboard, leading off the 7th. Only the 3rd hit for the Pirates.
First pitch slider, and McCutchen goes down and gets it. Nice piece of hitting. We've seen that before from him. Big fan, by the way. I love the way this guy plays. He always has played hard.
Marte next. His single up the middle 2 innings ago. Leading off the 5th was the first Pittsburgh hit. Stole second, went to third on a grounder, scored on a single.
So have you seen McCutchen only has 2 stolen bases this year?
Notice he has not run much at all.
He caught 5 times.
He stole 11 last year, 18 the year before that, but he really hasn't done much running since the MVP season back in 13 when he stole 27. He was a kind of a regular 20 or more guy per year then.
Tell you what, patrolling center field all those years takes it out of you. I don't care who you are. And all those stolen bases attempts, and not even talking about all the dive backs on the throwovers and what it takes to do that and the toll on your body. I remember talking to Denard Span about that. He says, everyone talks about how many bases I stole last year and getting on. And he goes, what really takes it out of you is, as a base stealer, the throwovers. All the time you're diving back, getting up, diving back, getting up. No stat for that.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Marte has hit into 5 double plays this year. McCutchen took a couple of steps, then stopped. Marte 2 years younger than Andrew. McCutchen 29, Marte at 27. Gregory Polanco, the other outfielder in that talented trio, on the bench tonight, 1 for his last 14. Target in, runner going. Ramos a bullet, but it's way high into center field. Taylor came charging in. So McCutchen does swipe a base. And that's only his 3rd of the year in 8 attempts.
Got pretty good jump. Watch top of the screen. Almost like he had a rhythm on Steven. That's just an emergency throw from Wilson. That's all the chance that he had. Great jump by McCutchen. And you see that jump and how easily he stole second. And you wonder why he hasn't tried it more.
Yeah, that was a big curveball that didn't miss being a called strike by much. Ramos jumping up to make a throw, and a swing and a foul. So the Pirates 2 steals tonight and 70 on the air. He needed the strikeout, and he goes down and away to get Starling Marte. Mercedes-Benz will track it.
Pretty nasty changeup right here. Marte just trying to put it in play. You see him turn it over. Some split action at the end. That was designed to be a ball, and Marte chased it. Good pitch.
Here's Matt Joyce. He was trying to advance Marte last time. Fouled out to Rendon on a spectacular play. That ball is hit high in the air to right. Harper under it, setting up for a throw. And the runner will stay at second. Bryce showing off a little bit for that second out, and that's fine by us.
Well, good choice by Andrew McCutchen, because I'm thinking he's going to go, but watch Bryce get behind this ball. That's where the play is made. He set up nice and then just launched it. And McCutchen looks back at Bryce Harper and says, yeah, I made the right decision. That was fun to watch, wasn't it?
Yeah. The runner has no way of knowing that throw's 5 feet offline. The quick release, as you mentioned, the key to that.
Well, the respect for the arm is the key to that.
Yeah. So here's Gung. He has struck out and bounced out to short. Bat shatters. Espinosa's got it. And after a leadoff single and a steal, this ball game goes tied into the 7th inning stretch. And as the moon looks down on a beautiful evening at the ballpark, we're going bottom 7. Espinosa. That was the real moon, by the way, not the one on the crane. Danny, followed by Clint Robinson and Steven Strasburg, and Liriano slips again in his landing area. Ball 1. Espinosa, high chopper last time over third base way. Beat it out without a throw. So 3-0.
Got to take here. Even though he got 18 home runs. 1-1 game, bottom of the 7th. You need your leadoff man aboard if you're Dusty Baker.
He just got it. 4 walks by Liriano. So here's that control thing that we referenced 2 hours ago.
He doesn't like the mound all of a sudden. Remember we showed him slipping last inning. He kind of had a little slippage in the middle of that at-bat, but he's been doing his own ground, like not Mark Fitterich groundskeeping, but with his cleat trying to fix that landing spot.
He's walked 3 of the last 4 batters. Robinson base hit right through that hole on the right side of the infield. Now they move Jordy Mercer over to plug that hole up a bit. So last time up, Clint Robinson collected his 19th RBI of the year. 17 of them have been in the 20 games he has started.
I mean, there's a lot of great things to like about Clint Robinson. Number one, he brings his hard hat and lunch pail every day. He'll give you a good at-bat off the bench. He hits lefties as good as he hits righties. I mean, he turned into a very valuable major league player.
Inside, 1-1.
And he's been clutch.
Robinson right through the shift. Heading for third, Danny Espinosa. Corner situation. Strasburg coming up. Nobody out. Clint Robinson 2 for 3.
This is another day at the office for Clint Robinson. He can hit, folks. There's no doubt about it. I mean, give him a chance to play every day. He's going to show you that he can get the job done. So he drove in the Nats' only run in the 5th, and now in the bottom of the 7th, hits the hole. Danny Espinosa to third. And Clint Hurdle to the mound.
Yeah, that's a quick exit for Liriano, who goes 6 tonight, plus 2 hitters. So it's our UPS store call to the bullpen. Together, there's nothing we can't solve. Visit the UPSstore.com for locations. By authority of the Washington Nationals and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the expressed written consent of the Washington Nationals. Clint Robinson 2 for 3 tonight. Strasburg stepping in. Liriano done after 98 pitches, 6+ innings. And the 32-year-old, or 28-year-old, pardon me, right-hander Neftali Feliz will take over. Most of his big league career with Texas, 1 year with Detroit before coming to the Pirates this year.
Big fastball, 96, slider, change to go with it. And if you're wondering why Clint Hurdle made this move, well, number one, it's hard to bunt 96, especially when it's right on right versus left on right. And then you have Turner, Taylor, and Worth, all right-handers to follow. And this is the ball game right here.
Oh, that's a great bunt. Espinosa, he's coming home. He is safe. Danny came down the line, waited for the throw to first. And it looks like everybody's safe. Even Strasburg at first, and the Nats take the lead.
What a great read by Espinosa. He was kind of caught in no man's land, to be honest with you. And then when the throw went to first base, he broke down the line. So watch Danny at the top of your screen. First of all, great bunt by Strasburg. But look at, Feliz looks, but he doesn't see. There's a big difference, folks. He just gives him the token look. Watch, but he doesn't see him. Where's he looking? He didn't see Espinosa at all. And then it gets all weird at first base. Espinosa with a good read coming home. Strasburg has to get out of the way of the throw. There was almost a collision. So 8 million things going on that play. But the key to it was Feliz did not look Espinosa back to third. He just looked that way. Big difference.
And David Freese threw home before he ever touched the bag.
Watch the head of Feliz. Yeah, this is the token look. He didn't look him back. And Espinosa with great wheels, a great read. And a great bunt by Steven Strasburg. A lot of good things going on right there.
They're going to give Freese an error on that play. Never got the bag, threw home, and then Espinosa beat that. First and second, nobody out. Trey Turner, the hitter. They do give Strasburg a sacrifice, so the E3 allows Espinosa to score. Turner right off the end of the bat.
Yeah, that bunt, it's not a very exciting play.
And Steven also gets his 14th career run batted in.
That right there, in a nutshell, is why the National League is better than the American League. Sorry.
Well, remember the Oliver Perez bunt against Minnesota.
I just like the strategy with the pitcher up, the pinch hitter, the double switch, and then the bunt. In the bottom of the 7th, he's going for his 13th win. You don't get that in the American League. You don't. I mean, it's great baseball, but it's not the strategy in the read by Espinosa, the bunt. He's about 96. He gets it down softly. And now Espinosa does the rest. Strasburg throwing a body block on Freese on top of it. It's a big guy to throw around.
One and two to Turner. Fastball misses.
Don't discount the fact that it's not easy to bunt 97. It really isn't, even for the best bunters. That's helping yourself out, folks.
Turner 1 for 3 tonight. Swing and a miss on a big breaking ball that ended up off the plate. First out, 7th inning. Jeep takes us inside the numbers. So since June 26th, the Nats 11 of 15. Phillies, Pirates 10 of 14. Dodgers right there, Blue Jays right there. On the shorter term, Pittsburgh had won 9 of its last 11 coming into this one tonight. So here's a big spot for Michael A. Taylor. He's 0 for 2 with a walk. That ball gets away, heading for third, Robinson, and it goes down the left field line. He will score. 3-1 Washington. The Nats are aggressive and the Pirates are throwing it around the yard.
Add that to the things you love about Clint Robinson. Baseball player, folks. He eats, drinks, and sleeps baseball. And you see the read. Hey, he could be satisfied being on second. Got his second hit of the day. Could be out there digging himself on second base. But now he sees the ball in the dirt, reads it, makes something happen, and creates the third run for the Nats. All by being aggressive. Gotta love that.
So wild pitch, error on the catcher. 2 runs in. Strasburg gets second, and it's now 2-0 to Michael A. Taylor. That ball is scorched to right field. See you later. The Nationals lead 5-1.
That ball was smoked. A no-doubter by Michael A. Taylor. What a swing.
Love seeing him smile. He's been kind of through the ringer here the last couple of weeks. Sent down for a while. Back in the big leagues now. And that's his 7th of the year. The Nationals lead by 4.
I mean, it all started putting pressure on the Pirates, getting your home crowd into it on a Friday night, and almost like an NBA game. The Nats on a run right here. They got the crowd into it. Michael A. Taylor with a great swing, but forcing the issue. Not so much the Pirates destructing, the Nats putting pressure on them and making them feel the home crowd. It's the advantage to play it in your own ballpark.
So who hits the first homer of the mythical second half? Michael A. Taylor. The Nats have 125.
What a
2-0 to Worth. And just as this happens, the Phillies get 3, and breathing down the backs of the Mets, it's now New York 4-3, 7th inning at Philly. 2-1 pitch. Way inside. And Jason didn't get a heater on 3-1. Three-two with 1 out. Jason Worth takes a walk. 4 walks issued by the Pirates in the last 2 innings.
You know, Michael A. Taylor kind of feeding off the atmosphere here. Nats Park alive with all the base running, guys running around the pillows. Gets a fastball down the way, gets some extension on it, and you knew as soon as he hit it, had the sound, the trajectory, and on a warm night, easily gets out of here. A great catch that I didn't see the first time by the Nats fan. What a play.
22nd career homer by Michael A. Taylor. Feliz is done. Rough inning for him. Archimedes Caminero has been warming up. More on math in a moment.
Bottom of the 7th, Bryce Harper coming to the plate. Don't miss Bryce Harper's Kids Jersey Day on Saturday, July 24th when the Nats host the Padres. First 10,000 kids 12 and under will receive this special giveaway. That is awesome. Visit nationals.com/tickets today. I say you and I, Carp, try to put that thing on. Why not?
Maybe the first time in my life I'll feel ripped. 29-year-old Archimedes Caminero from Santo Domingo. The Nats know him well from his days with the Marlins and 13 and 14, 73 games for the Pirates last year. This will be his 33rd appearance, 35 innings, 29 Ks, but 19 walks, and he's been hittable.
Yeah, fastball 98. He'll cut the fastball at 92, and his split is 91, so everything firm from Archimedes.
Worth his walk, tees at first with 1 out. Bryce Harper 0 for 2 with an RBI and a walk against the right-hander. Fastball in there, 98.
I think Jason got a haircut. What do you think?
Yeah.
All-star break, chop? I mean, that's, yeah. And Bryce got his all-star cut with some lines all over the place. He was looking sweet on the red carpet. I think they should have the All-Star game in San Diego every year, except for in 2018 when it's at Nats Park. See me cover that?
Very quickly,
yeah, I did.
I might add.
Yeah. Oh, they should just have it there. I mean, except for in 2018, every other year in San Diego. Although Miami next year will be fun. So forget what I just said.
It was odd seeing the National League wearing visiting uniforms.
Yeah.
Because the National League's had the All-Star game for a couple of years in a row now, and that streak will continue.
I like what Bryce said. Best record gets home field. End of story. It's pretty simple.
Yeah, that wouldn't make best record mean a lot. 1-1 to Harper. Shift is on. And this one high in the air. Short left center. Jordy Mercer with Starling Marte crossing right behind him makes the catch. 2 outs. Check in on Metro's extensive track work because it could limit your travel options as you move around the area. So for help getting around, look for Mission Metro alerts on WUSA 9 and download the WUSA 9 app. You can do that right now.
I mean, they talk about the All-Star game meaning something and being competitive, but when Terry Collins lays out every pitcher he's going to throw in what inning, how is that competitive? Can you imagine if Clint Hurdle told Dusty Baker tonight, hey, I'm going with Francisco Liriano for 6, and then here's who's coming out of the bullpen.
Yeah.
So you got pitchers saying they're going to lay him in there for guys. And now that determines the World Series home field advantage. Something's got to be changed, in my opinion. That guy was fantastic. Can you imagine him as a closer coming in throwing 100?
Anthony Rendon 1 for 4 against Caminero. Worth started, then stopped, and Rendon hits one well to right. Going back for it, though, is Matt Joyce. The Nats have a huge inning. Aggressive base running, a couple of walks, a Strasburg sacrifice. Mike Golay puts the icing on a 4-run inning into the 8th. 5-1 Nats.
Great catch.
On Masson, brought to you by Airlines for America, where airplanes land, opportunity takes off. And by Mercedes-Benz, the best or nothing. All kinds of all-star gear available at the Nationals team store. If you're coming down to the ballpark tomorrow, grab some gear. Top 8, Taylor's gone deep. Pitch number 91 from Steven Strasburg upstairs. Jordy Mercer, Eric Fryer, and then a pinch hitter for Archimedes Caminero. Line drive, Turner right there. Potomac Nationals, they'll begin a 7-game homestand next Thursday. We'll tell you more as we get closer, but you'll have a Friday family pack, a bobblehead giveaway, military appreciation night, and the Dollar Monday. The tickets are going fast, and they're gone till next Thursday. PotomacNationals.com. Here's Eric Fryer into left on the first pitch. Worth coming in. Espinosa out. Jason has it. The outs are coming quickly for Steven Strasburg, who's trying to go 8 innings for the second time this year. He did it April 19th at Miami.
Just what the doctor ordered right here. A couple of quick outs here in the 8th. Mike Maddox going to go with a quick scouting report.
Yeah, this is their rookie they just called up last week, Josh Bell, one of their prized youngsters who hit a pinch hit grand slam in his second major league at bat. So Felipe on your left and Sean Kelly on your right. Josh Bell is from Irving, Texas, between Dallas and Fort Worth. He was a second rounder by the Pirates 5 years ago, but he signed for $5 million, and that was a record for a non-first round draft pick. He passed up a scholarship to play baseball at the University of Texas.
Yeah, I think I'm doing the same thing for $5 million.
First round's overrated. So Bell, as a big league hitter, 2 for 2 with a homer and 4 RBIs on that grand slam. He was hitting .324 at Indianapolis with 13 homers when they called him up. Little late for that Strasburg heater, or a changeup actually, or was that the slider up and in? He just got around late and off to the other side.
First swing reminded me of Cliff Floyd.
One-two pitch. There's the changeup. Unbelievable. 20-2 over his last 29 starts. I mean, you can do the math on the strikeout to walk ratio. It's ridiculous. Strasburg struck out 10 on 105 pitches when he went 8 at Miami, and a 7-0 win April 19th. That was the night Bryce Harper hit a grand slam, and the Nats had that 4-home run 7th inning. Good at bat by the kid. Wasn't biting, and he draws the walk. Pirates need base runners. Steven Strasburg, second walk of the night. Josh Harrison 0 for 3. To the top of the order we go.
Those add-on runs huge right now. 2-1 game, 3-1 game. I think Dusty Baker goes and gets his right-hander, but a 4-run lead. He's letting him finish the 8th, or at least letting him try to finish the 8th. So the home run by Michael A. big.
Prior to that walk, Strasburg had retired 21 of the previous 24 Pittsburgh batters. Had a streak of 10 in a row earlier. Crowd liking it. 36,982 tonight. One of the biggest crowds of the year. Still excited about that bottom of the 7th. And a 2-2 to Harrison. Got him! Curveball that didn't do a whole lot. And Josh Harrison can't believe Ron Kulpa rang him up. Strasburg, strikeout number 6.
Tried to get hit by it. It came back for a strike. Buckled him. Pretty good pitch.
And this long homestand off to a great start. 31-year-old Jared Hughes takes over for the Pirates. He's been a Pirate his entire big league career. This is his 32nd appearance. 30 innings, 15 strikeouts, 12 walks. They have a lot of guys with very mediocre strikeout to walk ratios. And he's given up 35 hits in those 29 2/3.
Time for some Yellowwood bringing the lumber. Check out Michael A. Taylor with the add-ons on a fastball right down the middle. Watch the extension. Catches it out front. Rolls the wrist. And a low liner gets out of here for home run number 7. And what a catch by that Nats fan, huh? I mean, that ball had a little hair on it. Just traveling over 100 miles an hour. What did we say, 104?
Here's Wilson Ramos against Jared Hughes. Ball 1. Ramos 0 for 4 against him. Tonight, Wilson 1 for 3 with an opposite field single and the first run the Nats scored back in the 5th inning. Espinosa moved him over to third. Robinson drove him in.
Nice catch, Dad. Just like you taught me. He still can't believe it.
And Wilson Ramos is 2 for 4. Maybe they're saying, hey, Dad, act like you did that before.
Yeah, come on, Dad. That's a good play.
But tomorrow night, another 7 o'clock game. Tanner Roark. The Nats are 8-1 his last 9 starts. How about that? He's looking for his 9th win. He'll be opposed by right-hander Garrett Cole of the Pirates, 5-4. He's 2-0 with a 1.74 career against the Nats in 3 starts. Johnny and Ray, Nats Extra, 6:30 tomorrow night. We'll join you from the booth at 7, first pitch. Headed home at 7:05. Here's Danny Espinosa. On base twice tonight, a base hit, a walk, a run. 0 for 3 career against Jared Hughes. One starting, one charting.
Yeah, that's going to do it for Steven tonight, obviously. Sitting next to Tanner chatting. It's not his normal seat between innings.
Nobody up in the bullpen, but with 2 outs, either Rivero or Kelly will probably pop up. And you would think Kelly with the hitters they have coming up. Freese, McCutchen, Marte, all right-handers. Two-one to Espinosa. Shift on. Right to the pitcher, waiting and making his throw, and then they turn the 1-6-3. Johnny Holiday and Ray Knight are in the house. Yeah, their all-star break's over too. That happened at 6:30 tonight. It's our Nats Extra postgame show presented by WB Mason with Johnny and Ray as soon as this one's over here at Nationals Park. And now the saga of Clint Robinson continues with Sean Kelly about to take on all those right-handed batters in the top of the 9th, up by 4. Taking all the way, 1 ball, 1 strike.
Well, if you had to give 3 stars like a hockey game, as you look at Steve and Drew on deck, it'd have to be Strasburg, Espinosa, and Robinson, right?
Yeah.
Maybe a nod to Michael A. Ooh, couple of hits, letting the throttle out right there.
Two and two to Clint. Facing Hughes for the first time. Way outside. Another good contact by Clint Robinson, and waiting in front of the track is Starling Marte. So the Nats pick up a hit by Ramos. He's 2 for 4. 3 outs to get, and the second half's off to a start.
Train Stephen Strasburg. When you talk about the All-Star break, 4 days off, rest between his last start, which was July 8th. And watch how he stays in the baseline here. It was David Freese who wasn't in the baseline because of the throw, so Strasburg stayed in the line, and all in all, an amazing night. 105 pitches, 69 for strikes, 8 innings, gave up 1 run on 3 hits, 6 strikeouts, and a bunt that turned the game around.
Three outs to get for Sean Kelly. David Freese 0 for 2 with a walk. The 32-year-old right-hander making his 38th appearance. 49 Ks in 32 innings. And he's no stranger to the 9th inning this year as he takes the mound here.
Well, you know, he early in the season loved his slider. He's throwing his fastball more. The velocity in his fastball is higher than it's ever been. I mean, he's 94, 95. And the command with his fastball has been impressive. And more importantly than all the velocity and what he's throwing is it's what it says is you as a pitcher, that you're kind of establishing yourself with authority by going after guys.
1-2.
I love guys that come out of the pen throwing heat.
And a long ball out of play. Mets added a run. They're in the bottom of the 7th at Philadelphia, leading 5-3, and Miami is tied 1-1 at St. Louis, bottom of the 4th. And the Cardinals just added 3 to that, so now they're hammering Miami 4-1, but it's early. Nats started the night 6 games up on both ball clubs. Just do your part and let the other guys battle it out. The battle continues tomorrow night. Tanner Roark, Garrett Cole. Front door pitch and over the shortstop. David Freese on for the 2nd time tonight. The Pirates would need 1 more base runner to get the tying run into the on-deck circle. Changing it to a save situation. Here's McCutchen. He's 1 for 1 career against Kelly. 1 for 3 tonight.
Some big outs to get here in the 9th.
Didn't miss by much. Counts even 1-1. Swing, a tip, and a strikeout. 93 as Sean Kelly blows away McCutchen.
He'll challenge fastball right here. 93. Watch where it lands on pitch track. Middle end, little tail to it at the end. Arm side run, if you will, and maybe McCutchen thinking about the slider. Kelly gets the fastball by him.
Important first out. Starling Marte is next. Marte 0 for 1 against Sean. So he gets a first pitch slider. Papelbon if they get another base runner.
You go slider off that fastball away. He threw first pitch slider down the way, then backdoored the heater. If you start that slider on the outer half, he's going to think it's the same pitch. You might get a chase.
Time given.
Good take right there. That was close. It might have been the top of the zone.
If Dave Kingman or Richie Sexton were batting, maybe.
Right? I mean, that's close.
Yeah.
And that was a late time, all kidding aside. And
Yeah.
if you're Sean Kelly, that's exactly what you do. Don't stop your delivery. Just let it go wherever.
We'll try the 0-2 thing again, and Marte straight back to stay alive. Boy, since the 19th of June, getting close to a month now, the bullpen has gelled. Papelbon's back. He's been efficient. Swing and a miss. And Kelly continues to strike out. Pittsburgh Pirates 2 down.
I'm telling you, he's got so much late life on his heater. That 93, 94, when you're watching swings and reading the opponent, playing way faster than that. I mean, it looks like it's 100.
Final hope for the Pirates now. Left-handed batter Matt Joyce. The Nats are not only winning home games, they're really entertaining their fans. We had some really great, exciting ball games, well-played games before the trip to New York. And tonight would fall into that category. Strike one.
You know, as bad as putting pressure on the defense running the bases looks when you get thrown out, it's the other side of it when it works. It's just electrifying to me. It's a fun brand of baseball to watch. And when Danny Espinosa read the bunt for Strasburg tonight, Clint Robinson read the ball in the dirt. I mean, that's what gets fans into a game. That's exciting baseball to me. I mean, you cringe when you get thrown out, but when it works, it's fun to watch.
1-2. Well, the pitching sets the tone, and Strasburg was great tonight. Matching Liriano pitch for the first 5 innings. And the Washington Nationals are 19 games over 500. So Kelly gives up a hit and then strikes out 3 in a row.
And Steven Strasburg goes to 13-0. The first time a National League pitcher's done that since 1912. Nats ready to play baseball tonight, folks. That's as good as they played all season long.
Friday the 13th for Steven Strasburg. The Nats win it 5-1. More from the ballpark coming up. And your ball club's got a chance to go 20 over tomorrow night.